I need to listen a lot because I find out a whole lot.
Let's go. It's 5 o'clock. Let's call the February 12th, 2024 meeting of the Leitchfield Planning Commission to order. April, when you get a chance, will you call the roll, please?
Yes, sir. Commissioner Whitmore. Commissioner Mudd.
Here.
Chairman Buckles.
Here.
Commissioner Clemens.
Here.
Vice Chair Bocock.
Here.
Commissioner Hack.
Here.
All right. Thank you. Also, let the record reflect our legal counsel is here and members of the planning staff are represented this evening. In your packet, let's also let the record reflect that Mr. Whitmore has made it to the meeting. So, 100% attendance now. Okay, in your packet, you have the minutes from the January 8th meeting, including public hearings and general business. Once you have a chance to review those, we will entertain amendments to the minutes as presented or acceptance of the minutes as presented.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion, we approve the minutes as written.
Tim Bocock with the motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Les Whitmore with the second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, minutes are approved. Heather, congratulations. Okay, we have some visitors with us this evening. I think some are for a working session, and I know we're about to open a public hearing. Next on the agenda is our public hearing. Welcome to our public hearing, which will be inside a public meeting. Hearings are only for the purposes of receiving evidence and taking testimony from the public. No action is taken inside the public hearing. If you have not signed in, there is a sign-up sheet for each side of the issue that we are adjudicating. A reminder, if you think you might have information to include as testimony during the hearing, you must sign in ahead of time. The hearing is a judicial process that includes actual sworn testimony. We will begin by accepting testimony from the applicant, followed by anyone in support of the application. Then we will hear from anyone in opposition to the application. Following any opposition, the applicant may offer rebuttal to opposing testimony. Once all testimony is heard, the public hearing will be closed. Public comment will no longer be accepted unless the result of a direct question from the commission. Most often, the commission takes action the same day as a hearing, but under the provisions provided us by KRS 100, we may delay action on a request depending upon the volume of evidence to consider. Do I have a motion to recess the public meeting and open the public hearing?
I'll make that motion.
Wes Whitmore has a motion to open the public hearing. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Missy Mudd with a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, we open the public hearing at 5:03. April, would you read the abstract, please?
RZ-24-126, owner Aubrey Beatty, applicant Aubrey Beatty, location 176 West Lake Drive, Litchfield, Kentucky. Request to change current zone R2, single family medium density to C1 highway commercial.
Thank you, April. Heather, do we have sign-up sheet in the back? If we do, could you bring those to me, please? Okay, good, thank you. Okay. Aubrey, you're here, you're as the applicant. Would you like to speak on behalf of your application or just let the application stand for itself? You're good? Okay. Is there anyone else here to speak in favor of this application to amend the zoning map? Is there anyone here to speak in opposition to the application to the zoning map? Do I have a motion to close the public hearing?
I'll make that motion.
Kendall Clemmons with the motion to close the public hearing.
Second.
Missy with the second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, thank you all. All right. Before any map amendment is granted, the Planning Commission must find that the map amendment is in agreement with the adopted comprehensive plan, or in the absence of such finding that one or more of the following apply, that the existing zoning classification given to the property is inappropriate, and that the proposed zoning classification is appropriate, or that there have been major changes of an economic, physical, or social nature within the area involved which were not anticipated in the adopted comprehensive plan, and which have substantially altered the basic character of the area. Tyler, you have a recommendation for the commission?
I do. With the change of the bypass coming through that will border this property, I recommend that the Planning Commission accept this request to change. There are 2 tracks on this property, one containing 14,901 square feet. The second track only has 4,402 square feet, so I would make this contingent that a approved combination plat be submitted to be able to do both tracks commercial. The minimum lot size is 7,500 square feet to be considered commercial, so that one lot by itself would not meet that minimum requirement.
Okay. Thank you. Discussion, commissioners, questions for the applicant or staff?
Tyler, this application is for sure for both parcels, right? It's for both tracks on that deed?
Yes.
Okay. And you also said that they were not standalone, they were not big enough for commercial, is that correct?
Tract 1 is big enough by itself, but Tract 2 is not.
Okay, so they would have to be
Consolidated.
consolidation plats prepared and recorded before, so that it couldn't be done legally unless that was part of this procedure, I guess, tonight, really, to require that?
We can do that and make that a stipulation to the
Okay.
approval. We've done that before.
Okay.
So in that case, it wouldn't even be voted on tonight until it was consolidated, right?
No, you can go ahead and vote on it, and the commission can vote on it. That'll make that a consolidation. And it's
Contingent on that.
upon
Okay.
approval of the consolidation.
Then pending consolidation, then it would
Right.
pass, okay.
Right, you
Okay.
can do that.
Do you understand that, Aubrey? You want to explain it?
Go, Kendall will
Kendall,
explain it
explain
better.
that.
Well, Aubrey, it's your intention to rezone both plats and to, or both parcels and to combine them into one? So you're fine with that? Okay.
So the contingency can be added to that.
So meaning, when we vote on it,
Motion.
it will still have to be consolidated after for it to pass.
So the one track's not 7,500.
Yeah, it's too small.
To make it 7,500.
Say that again?
Both tracks to make
No.
it 7,500.
Well, the one track is big enough by itself, but the other track is not.
Well, then can we just do the one track?
You don't have to. What you can do is we can go ahead and approve it, subject to you filing your consolidation plat. Once you file your consolidation plat, you're good. Yeah, and that's what they're saying.
So then both tracks would be commercial.
In other words, it'd be one
Yeah.
big tract then.
But the zone change won't be in effect for either property until that plat is filed.
Okay. Any other questions? Just from a procedural standpoint and just kind of from a commission standpoint, our worksheet on necessary findings, I've noticed over the years, and it's happened long ago and continues to happen, a lot of times applicants come in and in the necessary findings section where the choice is it in alignment with the comprehensive plan? Most often, obviously, the answer is no. But then there are 2 different sections. Is it inappropriate or is it appropriate? Or have there been major character changes of the neighborhood. It doesn't always have to be both. You know, it can be one or the other, and in this case, it's the latter rather than the former. But I find lots of applicants, when they see a blank, they think, well, I've got to fill it up with something. And so it's, so basically the way the application's prepared, on the necessary finding, number 2 is all that you need, you know.
When I draft my recommendation that we send to the council, we always put in there that particular, just like you're talking about, Mark, we do that. Just, you discussed it today, and I put that in there.
Well, and I appreciate too, if I were given an application like this under necessary findings that I was supposed to submit, if I saw a blank in front of me, I would think it's incomplete, you know, until I found something to put on it. So. All right, I will entertain motions one way or another whenever someone is ready to make.
I'll make a motion, we approve the zone change with the contingency of a consolidation plat of both parcels, and on the finding that there have been major changes of an economic, physical, and social nature within the area that were not anticipated in the adopted comprehensive plan, and which have substantially altered the character of the area.
Okay, do I have a second to that motion?
A second.
George Hack with a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, it's unanimous. Our recommendation to the Litchfield City Council to approve the application for the zoning map amendment. And the city council will take this up at their next meeting, coming up on Monday, I suppose. Okay. Next on our agenda, old and unfinished business. Tyler, anything under old and unfinished?
No.
Okay. Moving to new business. Tyler? Dave?
We've got
We've got the public hearing for the text amendment
Yeah, that's
on
what
the
it's
agenda as well.
Seeing here.
Gotcha. Public hearing for the text amendment building. That's right. The last page, Tyler? Or do we have the, oh, from last month, that's right. Okay, 400 pieces of paper to keep track of.
looks like this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do I have a motion to open a public hearing for the text amendment on the, for building heights?
I'll make that motion.
Tim Bocock with the motion, Wes Whitmore with the second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, this is a public hearing to change the zoning text amendments for section 2.11 of the zoning ordinance. It changes section 3.8.10.e. Instead of 34 feet of 2 stories, it's a building height not to exceed 84 feet. 3.8.11e, maximum requirements in C1 is a building height not to exceed 84 feet. 3.8.12e, under I1, maximum requirements, building height not to exceed 84 feet. And 3.8.13.e, under I2, maximum requirements, building height not to exceed 84 feet. You know, we've been working on this for a couple of months, so if there's any discussion. Okay. Do I have a motion to present this to the city council for ratification?
I'll make a motion, we recommend the changes as noted.
I'll second.
Kendall with the motion, Tim Bocock with the second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Do I have a motion to close the public hearing?
I'll make that motion.
Wes Whitmore with the motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Missy with the second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right, now I think we're to new business, Tyler.
All right, so the back sheet, we've got a couple of proposed text amendments, specifically for accessory structures and modular homes. The first one is in the definition for accessory use or structure. We want to add in auxiliary to that as well. And we want to put in verbiage at the end that says, "In no case shall an accessory or auxiliary structure that is designed to be customarily used as a residence be permitted in any zone."
I'm not sure I understand that.
So like if somebody wants to get a modular home that's small, but it still has all the required facilities to be considered a residential structure, that it cannot be used as an accessory or an auxiliary structure on a piece of property that already has a primary building.
Like a mother-in-law unit.
And you're confident this will close the loop you're trying to close?
We think so.
We think so.
Would that include smaller sheds?
If, I mean, it'd be the same thing. If they had bathroom facilities in them, then
Well, if
it
it's
would have to be,
customarily used,
oh, yeah.
that's the reason we put that in there. We said customarily used as a residence. Now, if you just had a garage that you wanted to attach a bathroom to it, I don't think that would qualify this definition, but.
Just as long as it's not used as a
Right.
second residence.
Right, that's
Yeah.
exactly right, Wes. That was the whole purpose of
This
it.
makes it enforceable.
That makes sense.
But these are just proposals, so if there's anything that anybody wants to add,
We'll make that a public hearing too.
right, we can change it now and then hold a public hearing at a, you know,
I know it's become a trend for a lot of people to get a small shed and have a home office back there and have it designed as a home office. And I think that's a discussion that we need to have about whether we should preclude that or not, whether that should be in or out.
That would not be included in the present definition.
Okay.
So, oh, go ahead. So this is not uncommon, because I see it happen a lot down at the lake, on the lakes.
Okay.
And so as it starts working our way back to the city, this could be a problem we run into.
Anybody else? So do you all want to crunch this language for a little longer, or do you want to move forward with this and in the form of a public hearing next month, or what's your feeling?
I would defer to Dave's wisdom and expertise on this.
Well, Tyler and I thought that this would solve some problems that we have in the community right now, so that's the reason we worded it as we did.
I think if we're not going to change the wording, we could go on and have a public hearing, right, next month?
Okay, can you schedule that? on the
well,
agenda?
we've got another one on here as well.
Okay.
The next section down, referring to modular housing units, we want to add in there that the minimum size unit must be a double wide. And add that to the current requirements. But that way we don't have a park model modular home in a residential neighborhood.
So is a double wide, the definition of that, that would be somewhat debatable possibly, or would it be just considered two pieces, more than one piece? Is that really how you define that?
I think so, because that way, I mean, you can, the argument's there that if, you know, if the frame underneath the modular home right now is more than one section, that's more than one section. But if you put on here that it must be at least a double wide, then you've got two separate sections coming in. And then they put them together on top of a foundation.
My understanding, I guess, in a modular unit, that there's a lot of houses built, like factory-built houses, brought in lots of pieces, brought in on trucks, and when it's done, it looks completely like a site-built home.
Yeah.
Is that the
That-
same definition you think?
No,
It's
that's
not?
a manufactured home.
Okay, so that's not a
Yeah,
modular.
a modular home is brought in on a
My frame.
trailer with axles and all that.
Already put together.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Manufactured home's different.
yeah.
Okay, so your options are, we can roll these into the one public hearing, we can do one and not the other, we can do both in the same. We can do them individually.
I think we could have them one meeting, wouldn't you?
Would want to, yeah.
It probably makes sense
Okay.
to put them both together, wouldn't it?
If everybody's agreeable on both as presented, then obviously it makes sense, but you shouldn't feel obligated either if you have concerns. Yeah? Okay. We'll entertain that next month, have the public hearing. All right, residential structure proposal?
we're going to table that.
But we have these pretty pictures to look at.
Yeah.
I was talking to David, he wants us to look into it a little bit further before we present it. That way we can bring more information at the next meeting for y'all to go over.
Okay,
We think we need to look at it a little bit.
anything else? Tyler? Dave?
Yes, I've got one other item. We didn't get it on the agenda, but Kendall and I put this together. I talked to you about it. And we had a problem that Brian Downs wants to sell where his hair shop was there. And that's on West Market Street, south of Cannon Drive, and there's apartments that are on the side. And when Foster's built that, you all that one. Guess you're familiar with this.
Yeah, I did.
I'm familiar.
When they built that, they let their apartments go across the line. And so it crosses the line. So Kendall and I, we wrestled and we finally came up with this idea, and I think that it works. What we'll do, this is grandfathered in, these were built before planning and zoning. And they were both of them were built before we had planning and zoning. And so we just, we're gonna cut it into two lots, and it'll be grandfathered in. Of course, if it ever gets tore down, then we'll have to meet the ordinance. But Mark and I talked about it, and we didn't know any other way to do it except to do it this way. It's either that or you have to convey the full tract.
Is the person purchasing his property buying both?
No.
Just the hair business, right? Just the building?
One person, as my understanding is, one person's buying the hair shop, another person entirely buying the apartment.
Okay,
Okay.
that's why we're having to
But
do it.
when they looked at it, after we did it, after we looked at the thing, Kendall surveyed it, he found out that one of the buildings runs across the line.
Got it.
Not very
Okay.
far from it, it runs across the line.
So it wasn't a big issue to him, but now that he's selling it, it is. Yeah, okay.
Okay.
And if we don't make the correction now, then
Right.
it's perpetually wrong, so now's the best opportunity
Right.
to do that.
And this was all built before planning and zoning, so
Okay.
it's all grandfathered in.
Okay.
So if you all would just acknowledge that you examined that plan and you agree
We
with
need to put that in the record somehow.
our conclusion to solve their problem, that'd be
Yeah.
great.
So I ordinarily sign plats, just part of the routine as chair. But in this particular case, I probably would appreciate some recommendation or motion to grant me the ability to sign this special case plat.
Well, we can actually add signature acceptance for the chairman and the planning commission. It's not on here because I thought about that later. That should be done.
Okay.
Just to recognize that it came before us, it was approved.
So a special footnote on the
Yes.
plat suggesting that?
Yep.
Okay, let's do that.
Okay.
Do
Thank
we
you,
need to
Dave.
vote on that?
Does that have to have a utility easement all the way around it too, Kendall?
No, because it's basically, we're not subdividing it.
Okay.
No. Kendall, what about entrance? Are they sharing an entrance?
No.
No,
It's
separate
not.
entrances?
No, yeah,
Okay.
It's on each side.
Gotcha.
Two
Okay,
buildings have about 30 inches between them, and actually the overhangs are touching.
gotcha.
Okay.
So they're as close as you can get them.
Oh,
Not in one building.
Right, they can give us.
All right, Dave, do you have anything else? Tyler?
Not yet.
I think if it's going to go on the plat as a special designation, I think it's just like signing the plat. Don't you think? The only reason I said that is when you and I talked, I thought we were going to do it that way, so everyone understands what they've done. What's the street address on that?
I don't really know what the street address is.
West
The
Market.
intersection of, I think, South Cannon and West.
It's on the corner, it's on the corner of South Canada Drive
Market.
and West Market
Yeah,
Street.
I'd like a motion, Tim, just to make it
I'll do a
easy.
motion. Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion that we accept the amended plat as presented by Mr. Vickery.
Wes, do you want to second that?
Second that, yeah.
Wes seconds that. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any
Aye.
opposed? Okay,
They're gonna get me in trouble?
thank you. Tyler, anything else?
No, sir.
Anyone from the commission? Do I have a motion, we adjourn?
I'll make that motion.
I'll
Do
make
I have a
that
second?
second.
All in favor? We are adjourned at 5:25.